Warning! The following video is a parody of the Everything Wrong With series of videos by CinemaSins. Most of my viewpoints and opinions shared are not intended to be taken seriously since they do not reflect my actual opinions on any of the games featured in this video. Well, aside from one of them. But without any more delays, I hope you enjoy the video. So I'll begin by just getting that one statement from the manual out of the way. So according to this, every block contains a toad, which means every time Mario smashes a brick, he kills a toad. Or in this game's case, a mushroom retainer. Yep, that's what they are called in this game. Also, the piranha plant's name is spelled wrong in the manual, and so is the blooper. How come fireworks only appear when the last digit on the timer is a 1, 3, or 6? Why can't I get 2 fireworks if the last digit is a 2? Or any number for that matter. Well, aside from 0. Also, the timer is too fast and not accurate at all. Back to the topic of the whole toads inside bricks thing. What about the boxes containing items and coins? Do those also contain toads? What do you think on that? When Mario stands on a pipe with a piranha plant inside of it, the piranha plant just doesn't do anything. Come on, if Mario isn't moving when standing on said pipe, it's free real estate for the piranha plant. Just attack him! Okay, so not only does Toad tell me after getting through Bowser that Princess Toadstool is in another castle, which is frustrating on its own, but look at what he's doing here. You know what? Smashing the blocks with these guys inside them actually doesn't sound that bad right about now. How can Mario survive underwater without drowning at all? And considering the fact he could drown in future Mario titles, what caused him to start drowning in the first place? There is supposed to be a fire bar on this block. I mean, I'll take it, but what causes them to not spawn in sometimes? If Mario can swim in World 2 too, what's preventing him from swimming in this water here? And again, he doesn't drown in this game, so this shouldn't really be considered a danger to Mario. The f***ing Hammer Brothers. Need I say more? So if you kill Bowser using the Fire Flower, it will reveal that the Bowser you killed was a fake. But how did this Buzzy Beetle turn into Bowser? The only thing I can think of is the black magic that is stated in the manual, which turned the toads into bricks and plants. So if Bowser can use this black magic to transform anyone into anything, why doesn't he just turn his entire army into copies of himself and just swarm Mario, knowing he wouldn't stand a chance if he went against like 1,000 Bowsers at once? Lakitu can be obnoxious if you take your time progressing through the level, but when you keep a full sprint going, the spinies he throws down go off screen, ultimately making Lakitu less of a threat than he is made out to be. This f***ing Hammer Brother. Why does it have to be put here of all places? Where are these bullet bills coming from? This level has no bullet bill cannons whatsoever, which is leading me to believe they are coming from the castle at the end of the stage. But we don't see any bullet bill cannons coming from either the side of the castle or out of any of the windows. So, where are they coming from? Mario goes down a pipe here, which somehow leads to the middle of nowhere underwater. I can find the beginning pipe in World 1-2 to be understandable, because that leads to a cave underground. How come this pipe just puts me here out of all places? Also, it was night when I went down this pipe, and when I transitioned to the underwater section, it's now daytime. Did the journey from one side of the pipe to the other take like, somewhere between 6 to 12 hours or something? Thank God this game has warp zones in them, because you do not get any continues in this game, so you better not lose all your lives, because if you do, you go all the way back to the beginning, which will always be a sin, no matter what game it is. So if you get hit before you pick up a Fire Flower, you only become Super Mario instead of Fiery Mario, which, yes, that's what Fire Mario was known as back then, which I'll also state, it never says anywhere in the manual that if you get a Fire Flower as Small Mario, you will only become Super Mario. I feel like they could have wrote some additional clarification here if you get the Fire Flower as Small Mario. Did I just go through that Koopa without hitting him again or taking damage? So in World 7-4, in order to progress through the stage, you need to take the correct path, or you will have to try that segment of the level again because you took the wrong path. My problem with this is there is no additional audio cue that plays which could have been used to indicate if you took the right path or the wrong path. While I did eventually figure out the correct pathway, I had barely any time left when I got to the end. I know this is the second to last level in the game, but come on, even 2 Hammer Brothers on the ground is just too cruel to deal with. Okay, I know Mario can throw fireballs underwater, which is still ridiculous itself, but Bowser was able to put fireballs in an underwater segment? How the heck does fire work in the Mario universe if water doesn't put it out? Well, at least until Mario Sunshine. Considering this is the last Hammer Brother in the game, and this is where they chose to put it, I think I will close out my frustration towards these guys with a big screw you! A new quest, eh? I wonder what this could owe. The Goombas have all been replaced with Buzzy Beetles. Yay. What did I just do? Hold on. What happens if I go into a warp pipe while the warp zones haven't been fully loaded? What the f***? And this is World 7-2 again, but it just loops forever. So, I think you know what this means. On to the next game, which I am dreading. Even though I do not demonstrate it here, you can actually do the 1-up trick in this exact spot. I guess someone out there knew this game was going to put me through so much hell, considering this game's 1-up trick is literally at the beginning of the first level. Wait, what? Did I just see— Oh, come on! Bloopers were bad enough in the first game. Why are they now out of the water? Toad still flips you off at the end of a world, which feels worse here, knowing that later levels are going to give me a much harder time. Having Toad giving me the middle finger every time I finish a world is just additional salt to the wound. Is anything different to make this whole thing slightly more tolerable? Well, unlike the first game, you now get points from remaining time at the end of a castle level. Yippee f***ing do! I didn't mention this in the first game for whatever reason, but you cannot go backwards in a level. But the reason I'm mentioning it here is because there is supposed to be a vine inside this block. But because I went too far to the right, the vine didn't load in, despite the fact I hit the block. Why couldn't we go backwards in any of the levels in Mario 1 and Lost Levels? I have to find invisible blocks in order to progress the level or just jump off and die? Okay, that is not the worst way of progressing through a stage. The only real way I can think of that's worse is having to jump on enemies to make it onto otherwise impossible to reach platforms. How is anyone supposed to reach this power-up? I can't jump high enough— Oh. Okay. I'll take that, I guess. So this footage is from a later run that I did, which I will eventually get into why I did multiple runs on this game. But this is without a doubt one of the biggest sins this game has to offer. Why would anyone want to go back to the beginning of the game after getting to World 3? And for the record, yes, this does happen again later on. There is another warp pipe in World 8-1 that sends you back to the beginning of World 5, but I think you get the point here. Backwards warp zones are horrible. Why the f*** are they in this game? And speaking of going back, you get sent back to the beginning of a world if you get a game over, which is slightly frustrating knowing I have to do like 1, 2, or 3 levels again, but I'm glad it's like this and not how it was in Mario 1, because if you got sent back to the very beginning of this game every time you got a game over, this game would be impossible without the 1-up trick. We interrupt Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels to bring you the same take the correct path gimmick from World 7-4 in Super Mario Bros. But now, with invisible blocks you are required to find to reach the correct path. Hammer Brothers were bad in the first game, but the spots they are in this time are a lot cheaper than they were before, that's for sure. Especially the ones that are just waiting for you on the ground. Okay, Mario literally touched the lava and survived? I have several questions. Why is the loading time from World 4-4 to World 5-1 much longer compared to every other level transition in the game? Kinda weird. The f***ing wind! Not only does it push you forward against your will, but there is one level in particular, which we will get to later, that just makes me dread this gimmick, and the fact I even chose to play this game. We interrupt Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels to bring you the dead end from Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. Yep, you gotta jump off these paratroopers to reach this pipe, otherwise the stage will just loop. Why? And also this one in World 6-3 to hit this box. If you're already Super Mario by this point, getting the Fire Flower is pretty much impossible, making this box not worth it. Hey look, it's the same Pick the Right Path from World 3-4, but with a vengeance. And that's all I can really say about this level. And yeah, I really hate these levels in the classic Mario titles. Wait, what? They run after you in this game too? Nintendo did everything they could to make these assholes the most aggravating enemies I've ever encountered in a video game. Now I'm honestly kinda grateful for how easy they are to deal with in the modern Mario games, both 2D and 3D. Because if they were still like this... oh god. This bullshit again. The more they show something I've already covered, the more sins it gets, because crap like this honestly deserves it. Ah, World 7-3. A precursor to what is without a doubt the worst level in this game. I think I will have quite a bit to say about it once we get there. If you made this absurdly tight jump in World 8-1, hopefully you knew a Hammer Brother would follow right up immediately after to ambush you. I already sinned this bullshit twice. Just sin it one more time. 100,000 points for each life I have remaining is nice. But did I really deserve 7 Toads flipping me off alongside after all the crap I just went through? I wouldn't really call World 9 fantasy. I'd say it's 75% a trippy experience, and the other 25% is just me running to the right with nothing. Speaking of which, you are only given 1 life to go through World 9, but you can just cheese this in World 9-3, because the vine can be accessed infinitely, and every time you climb up it, you can grab 16 coins. So it will only be a matter of time before you can score yourself an extra life. Yeah, I better be considered a super player for enduring this whole experience. In fact, to everyone else who has fully played through this game at least once before, you too are a super player in my eyes. But it's not over yet. As much as I want it to be over, there are still worlds A, B, C, and D to go through, which in order to reach, I had to play through this game 8 times and warps could not be used. So 8 full marathons of this madness. On the upside, I did the infinite lives trick on one of them and found out if you have a ton of lives remaining at the end, I don't get the Toads flipping me off because the score counting up took too long. But still, considering the amount of trouble I had to deal with in order to get footage for worlds A through D, I think it's fair for me to add 10 cents per run and leave it at that. If these are the jumps I have to make to finish World A1, then I'm genuinely scared for what's to come. This piranha plant likes the taste of bricks for some reason. This question mark block is just not worth it at all. I surprisingly couldn't think of much to say for World B, aside from a paratrooper underwater here shouldn't actually be considered a threat, but I almost had a rough time with it here. And every pipe in World B4 sends you back here, meaning it will take longer to finish the stage. And considering I've had enough of this game by this point, that's something I wasn't going to be thrilled about. And I think the game knows that because one of these pipes actually leads to a warp zone that takes you to World D, which I didn't know at the time of me recording this footage. How the f am I supposed to know where I'm gonna land? Lakitu pesters you throughout this entire stage, making this level more annoying than it already is, and a majority of the very few platforms on this stage that you can land on are tiny. Plus, I originally wrote that if you land on this platform in particular, which comes after the 3 pipes we just passed, that's it. You can't go any further. But what I encountered was a glitch that causes the spring here to not spawn in sometimes, in which, after trying to look up why that's the case, I stumbled across this comment which states that the reason the spring does not spawn in is because of the sprite limit. Although I can't really confirm this comment to be 100% true, because the next time I reached this point, Lakitu was still on the screen, and the spring actually spawned in this time. So, did I just get really unlucky or something? But regardless, f*** this level entirely. Just get out of my way! Remember how I said in Mario 1 that Mario cannot swim in this water for whatever reason? Well, it's here at the end of World D2, where you'll either miraculously land on this singular block and succeed, or just fail, drown, and play the stage again. Yes! Thank God this is over! And you know what? F*** you two, Lost Levels. 100 more sins added to the total. I don't care. This game deserves it. Next up, Doki Doki Mario Brothers. I refuse to believe simply throwing a radish at somebody would be enough to kill them. Throwing them at somebody else? Yeah, I can somewhat understand that. But a radish? No, not at all. Shy Guy is stuck in the wall. I guess that's not the worst experience Shy Guys have been through. Gambling. Plus, this is how you will get a majority of your extra lives since 1-up mushrooms in this game are very scarce. Not many levels have them. Phanto. Need I say more about this creepy floating mask guy? Are we running on dried up bones that have just been laying here in the desert for God knows how long? What even died, decayed, and all the rest in these spots? How come Peach's hair in this game is brown when the artwork in the manual shows that she has blonde hair? I guess this could also apply to Toad because the manual shows a red Toad, whilst in game, we play as a blue one. Kinda odd, but I guess this is a neat introduction to Blue Toad anyway. So I guess that's all well and good. Basically the previous Sin, but you gotta guess the correct path to dig down to. And if you're wrong, go back up and go the other way. Triglide would actually be kinda challenging if I couldn't use the mushroom blocks as a cover. Didn't think that one through, did you, Triglide? I doubt anyone would think jumping down this pit, which would, in every other circumstance, result in death, would lead to a secret door, which has another potion inside to get you more coins to gamble away. I have to fight Mouser again? Are you f***ing kidding me? What's different in this fight compared to the first one? Mouser's pink ears and shoes are now green, and he now takes 5 hits instead of 3. Other than that, it's still the same fight as before. What the f***? Okay, so it's established already that the superstar grants invincibility and will take down anyone it touches. So how come the whale is fine when I'm standing on it while I'm invincible, but the water spout gets destroyed? I know the water spout can hurt you unless you're standing on top of it, but it's water, not something like a Shy Guy or a Bomb. It's just water! I have to ride an egg in order to progress the stage. Considering every time prior to this, we had to fight Birdo in order to proceed. If you didn't think to run here and check there's nothing here and you fought Birdo, you'd have no way of progressing through the stage, meaning you'd have to jump off, die, and try again. What kind of footwear do the Shy Guys have that make them immune to spikes? Someone like Mega Man could use a pair of those. Oh, what a tease! How was I supposed to know the mushroom would be up there of all places? Why display the bonus game when I didn't get any coins at a level? There's no point to it, other than to be another tease. I don't think this soundtrack is supposed to be playing here. So, the manual states that Claw Grip suddenly grows, which doesn't happen at all during this fight. Did he suddenly grow off screen? Like 5 seconds before we show up or something? Never in my life would I believe I would be playing a Mario game where I could go into a patch of quicksand to go under some dried up bones. Also, considering these bones are on a patch of quicksand, shouldn't they be buried under the quicksand by now? Discount auto-scroller. Kind of. What? Oh, come on! How was I supposed to know a bomb would be there? At least with regular bombs, you have a decent amount of time to throw it before it explodes. But with a bomb, you get like close to no time to react to it. So it's never specified anywhere why you go inside this bird's mouth every time you reach the end of a stage. But the only thing I could come up with is its mouth acts like a portal which leads to the next area. The only reason I'm calling this a sin is because I couldn't find any confirmation on this. How does Wart die to vegetables of all things? Is he choking on them as I throw them into his mouth? Or is he just allergic to vegetables in general? And also, Wart. Nice name. Who is gonna think the first time playing through this game to duck on this specific block for 3 seconds in order to reach a secret exit which would get you a warp whistle? Even the manual doesn't give a hint as to where you may find it. It just says, see if you can find it. That's very helpful. I'm sad. RNG. Like, I swear this minigame is rigged 99 out of 100 times I play it. It's pretty convenient the anchor of the airship always pulls up when Mario grabs onto it. It's like the Koopalings are actively letting him on the ship. Did Mario seriously jump out of the airship and land back on the ground completely unharmed? How is he even alive? And yes, he does this after beating every Koopaling. Please don't tell me every fight against Boom Boom is gonna be this easy. I know his moveset expands the more you progress into the game, but you can hit him again almost instantly after hitting him once already, so you can easily cancel out whatever he was gonna do next. Don't you just hate when the sun comes out of the sky just to specifically kill you? Even when you're in a puddle of quicksand, this sun just shows no mercy. Also, considering it's the sun coming out of the sky and how hot the sun really is, shouldn't this whole desert be on fire or something like that? So, just like the first Super Mario Bros., if you pick up a power-up like a Super Leaf as Small Mario, you only go into Super Mario. How? And why? These cannonballs would actually be threatening if I couldn't just stand in a specific spot where I will always be able to bounce off of them. What are Mario's leg and feet bones made out of if they can withstand a fall from the sky? I know I already brought this up, but even for Mario standards, him surviving a fall from the sky seems ridiculous to me. Even in future games where he somehow still does this. Fireballs underwater again. Enough said. I know quite a number of people don't like the frog suit. I personally don't mind it, but I know someone out there wants me to give this power up a sin. So I'll just add it to the sin counter for that one person out there who wanted me to do so, and you can also have this clip of me failing while using it. You happy now? Got him. Wait, what? Oh, you motherfucker. I just want to also add that I do not think the upbeat music suits the dire situation Mario is in here. He's being chased by a giant fish that wants to eat him whole. Sounds kinda grim. Is the Power Goombas spawning mini Goombas by— never mind, I don't want to know. These f***ing jellyfish. How does Spike pull spike balls out of his gut? Where or how does he get them? Is the process of pulling them out painful? This begs an explanation. The Wendy fight is straight up annoying because the hoops she summons don't go away and they constantly bounce everywhere on the screen. And also, we interrupt Super Mario Bros. 3 to bring you the DVD logo bouncing on the sides of the screen. This king looks an awful lot like Mario, doesn't he? Does this technically mean the Mario Brothers bloodline is also royalty? Why else would Mario and this king look so similar? How come some enemies in the giant land remain their normal size? The coins and power-ups, I can understand those retaining their normal size, but this kind of feels a bit off to me. So if I get stunned by a Sledge Brother and it lands on me, I am essentially screwed unless I have a power-up like Fire or Raccoon Mario, because I don't get enough invincibility frames after getting hit the first time. Great. You okay down there, Walking Fireball? I know you want Mario dead, but walking into a wall isn't gonna get you anywhere. Okay, so it was established that the magic wands the Koopalings stole was what transformed each of the 7 kings, but the Koopalings used the same magic wands they stole to battle Mario. How do these wands work? If they can transform someone's entire body into something else, how come here they just damage Mario? Do the Koopalings know what kind of magic to use in any circumstance, like fighting Mario? World 5-3 gets a sin because of the fact this is the only time we ever get to use the Goomba Shoe. We can't even get it as a power-up in one of the Toad houses, which sucks because it makes dealing with Spinies easier and we can walk on the Munchers. The Goomba Shoe should have been in more levels than just this one. Did that fireball just come down from the ceiling? How is this one defying gravity, unlike every other fireball in the fortress? Not a sin, I just wanted to show off how goofy ducking while flying looks. Getting this power up in World 6 Fortress 1 is just not worth it at all, because once you get it, you will not have enough time to make it back onto the moving platform, meaning you will either fall into the lava and die, or in my case, land on the spikes and lose the power up completely. So the only way to beat World 6-5 is to fly up here while holding a Koopa shell, which you then throw at the walking piranhas to get them out of the way and break the bricks blocking the pipe that leads to the end of the stage, and if you choose to progress to the right anyway, the stage loops. I understand why, so the player can eventually get the super leaf which is required to reach the end of the stage. But why? Prior to this level, we didn't need a specific power up to get to the end of a level. Why now is an exception being made? This has to be the most useless spike ceiling I've ever seen. It doesn't move and the spikes don't drop off randomly. Does the person who built this fortress think I'm stupid enough to press the jump button here? An auto-scrolling underwater level with tight areas and more of those f***ing jellyfish. World 7 Fortress 1 is without a doubt my most hated level in this game, because of how much it confused me during my playthrough when I was getting footage for this video. So I initially thought I just had to go through each door I would run into, and eventually this pipe, which I thought would lead to Boom Boom. Turned out I was wrong, and the only way to beat this stage is to find a P-switch, which is hidden inside a block, that can only be accessed after smashing a couple of blocks below it, which then reveals a door right beside you, which then, you have to pick which pipe to go down, which the correct pipe is this one. The wrong one will take you to that one pipe I mentioned earlier. And then finally, this block will give you a Tanuki suit, which will allow you to fly up to the top of this room where you'll find a pipe that leads to Boom Boom. So just use a super leaf for this level to bypass it, so you won't go through the same amount of suffering I did. This is basically a Mario Maker level 25 years before Mario Maker became a thing, let's be honest. This king says that he has a letter sent here by the princess, but it is signed by Bowser. Did he not check to see who sent in the letter? Did a toad get instructed to give a letter to the king, who would then hand it over to Mario? I don't know. Not to sin towards the game, although the pain that is the World 8 airships are going to be given one anyway, but still, I'm also just going to give a sin to myself here for being cocky in this clip. This sin is not going to add to the total though. That would be ridiculous if I sin the game because of my stupidity. I know this world is called the Darkland, but considering there is a sun in this level, shouldn't this place have some light just because of the sun's mere presence? So, for some reason, the bottom half of Bowser's body does not have a hitbox. So you could just do this for the entire battle and not have to worry about getting hit by any fire. Well, until you're on the last layer of bricks. Which then, yes, you will have to move so you don't fall with Bowser and then start the level over. Please don't tease me like that, Peach. I've heard that line too much throughout this marathon. 7 times in Super Mario Bros. I had to beat the lost levels 8 times in order to get footage for worlds A through D. So 7 castles with Toad at the end of them, multiplied by 8, which is 56. And then 3 more additional times in worlds A, B, and C. So a grand total of 66 times telling me that you are in another castle, whilst also flipping me the bird. So because of that, I'm going to add 66 sins as the last note for this video. I used to not mind Toad before the making of this video, but now I can say with 100% certainty, f*** this guy. I wouldn't mind smashing some bricks right about now.